I just burned through an entire credit balance on this one AI tool, not because I had to, but because I couldn't stop using it. So, what's this tool? It's Google's new Antigravity. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Ian Kirk, Captain AI, and this is a channel where I break down AI very simply for somebody that is just learning it on their own. Just a couple of months ago, I was blown away by Claude Code and I was using Cursor to interface with it. And then through networking, somebody told me you might want to check out Google's new anti-gravity. And last night, I was completely blown away by the capabilities of this new tool. So if you're somebody that has ever struggled with Claude Code or even knowing where to start, I'm going to highly recommend you use this tool and its agent functions. It absolutely makes it run on autopilot. All you have to do is simply tell it what you want to build. For the last 3 months, I've been struggling with a personal branding website that you'll see right over here. And I tried everything from Lovable to Google Studio to then even Claude Code to get this thing the way it looks now. It took me literally 45 minutes using anti-gravity and Claude Code combined to be able to get this thing fully up and running and linked to each one of my lead magnet apps. And you may or may not know this, but I'm actually writing a book at the moment, and we got the full join the waitlist section up with audio that actually allows you to listen to the first chapter. One big pain in the butt that I was experiencing is how to actually have an integrated chapter linked to an audio recording with 11 Labs to actually play on the site. Check this out.
Chapter 1. The Carpet. The supply closet was in the back of her classroom. That's the part that mattered. Not some hallway closet, not a janitor's room down the corridor. Her classroom. 10 feet from where she taught. 20 feet from where she'd sit every afternoon to tell us stories.
If you want to hear the rest of that and how my devious little mind used to get back at my preschool teachers, you can check out that chapter on the website. For the last few months, I've been experimenting with using Claude Code through the interface of Cursor. And Cursor is powerful. I mean, you prompt it, it writes code, and then you can edit files. But fundamentally, you're still doing pretty much all the thinking. You're still doing all of the planning. You're still doing all of the orchestrating, and you're managing the entire workflow. Okay, so here's the big difference. What I did is I gave a anti-gravity agent the exact access to my original build in Claude Code. And I asked it, I want to build this same similar style app, which helps people write better DMs. I want to do it for call coaching based off of their transcripts. So what it did is it outputted this entire prompt to be able to tell the next agent what it needed to actually do in order to write the code for a completely new app. Now, here's where it's way different than just simply prompting through Claude Code. What it was able to do is come up with this implementation plan right here that basically gives us a complete outline to make sure that we stay on track and we build things in the right order and don't get to the end where things are just completely broken and you don't know how to fix them. So what I see anti-gravity doing is it's flipping that entire model. Instead of prompting an AI, you're going to give it a mission and then it splits it up into agents and steps while you just kind of sit back and watch. Okay, so one thing that I liked so much better than working in Cursor was that it came up with the entire walkthrough so that I would know exactly what it was working on. And then it would keep opening other little browsers over here of things that I might need to see. And it was very simple to kind of follow along. Whereas a lot of times with Cursor, I just kind of felt like I was flying blind in the dark. And this would open browsers and show me all of the testing and edits it was actually doing in real time. So as you can see over here, if you click right here, it's in planning mode, and that's the mode that I'd always want to start in. And that's what helps it be able to come up with an actual entire plan to lay out for an execution, which it would do here. And of course, I'm running this all on a local host before I push it out to the interweb for anybody to see what we actually built. So like starting from zero, we're just gonna come in here because this is an app that I have an idea for, but I haven't actually started it yet. And I already started the Clarity Call Coach. What I want to do is we want to do the Ultimate Business Coach. Okay, so go back up here, and all we want to do is just click on Ultimate Business Coach, select folder, and this is just opening up essentially somewhat of like a blank slate. You'll see up here, it said authorization required. And what that needs to do is it needs to do a Google OAuth or Google authorization. So you'll have to actually sign into whatever your Google account is that you're using. So then in here, we're in planning mode. Of course, I don't have access to any of these because I burned through all of them. We're just going to use Flash, and I'm going to use Whisperflow just to talk to it. I've had difficulty with this little microphone actually hearing me, so we'll just use Whisperflow. What we want to design is a online app where people can come and get coaching from some of the best minds in the online marketing space. And we're talking about people like Alex Hormozy, we're talking about people like Tony Robbins, and we're talking about people like Eli Wild. I'm going to be able to give you a ton of information on those individuals' uh, courses since I've taken a bunch of them. But what I want you to do is we want to essentially have a knowledge base so that people could essentially get access to basic questions, but then as their questions become more complicated, we would want to have some sort of service that we can provide to them for online coaching or for them to get that coaching directly through this SaaS product. And let's watch it plan out this app. Well, we're going to keep looking at the screen so you can see right here, right? It's already designing an entire plan on here. And so what I'm also going to do now is I'm going to go into some old GPTs and some old knowledge bases and just simply pull some files so that I can add it in here to its knowledge base. Because this is going to be like one of the lead magnets on my website to help people get a taste of, mentorship and coaching. And they can either choose to upgrade to have it done through software, or they can choose to actually, become a client and come into a network of other online marketers that have already done what they're trying to do for one-on-one mentorship. What I can show is actually here on my website in the lead magnet section, you'll see it. It's the business clarity coach, the call reflect agent. This one has now been turned into an app, which is the slap method, which essentially helps rewrite people's direct messages and emails. The objection card is now an app. So that one's actively running. And this is just a promotion to some group coaching that I do in one of the communities I'm involved with. So if we look over here at this one, let's just click on here and you'll see what the lead magnet used to be before it's going to be converted into SaaS. So as you can see, this was a custom GPT, and what it would do is it was prompted. It also had a knowledge base, and it would run people through the first steps of starting their online business. But there was no way to capture their email. There was no way to follow up with them. So now we're going to actually build this into a SaaS, and we've started that project in Antigravity. So I used to have an Ultimate Business Clarity Coach as a custom GPT. What would you need from that old, old, old 6 months ago lead magnet to better design this app? Would you need its custom instructions and knowledge base? So again, what we're doing here is we are technically asking it how to build this the best way and letting it give us feedback so that we know what to provide it so that it can design exactly what we're looking for in one try, as opposed to everything being built out and then you trying to figure out what's broken and what's not connected right. So it comes back. Yes, absolutely. Both the custom prompt instructions and the knowledge base from the GPT would be incredibly helpful. It tells you why. So this is what I'll do. I'll go get that stuff for it. So just for simplicity's sake, since this is a shorter video, I'm just going to cut and paste this stuff in to give it some basic ideas of what we want built. I do have a whole idea and knowledge base that is so big. It's it's a couple gigs actually in length. So I'm going to have to actually use Supabase to actually build this thing out into an app. But I'm just going to show you how to do it super basic in this video example. All right, now to give you some markdown files like you're requesting above, where would you like me to drag and drop those? So again, the reason why I'm asking it is so that I don't put it somewhere where it doesn't know where it's at. And then all of a sudden it's not using the things that we had talked about. So you always ask it for clarification on what exactly to do, where to put things so that it knows exactly what the file structure is so that it can work extremely fast when this planning phase is over and it moves into build phase. I guess the other thing that I really liked is this whole like interface you can use your mouse with, and in Cursor you can't. And for me, somebody that hates using the arrow keys, that was super important to be able to cut and paste and just put things in and treat it just like a normal Word document essentially. So for those of you that like file structure and it being super specific, it wanted us to go in here into knowledge bases right there. And then what it wanted me to do is pull in the files, which is going to be the expert knowledge base, the bonus GPT agents, a open wallet training, little book of reframes, script lists, and objection handling. Just some basic skills for it to be able to help people get their business started. I have now put those files in that exact location for you. What's next? And I don't think you guys can hear that, but whenever it's actually coming to a place where it's like, hey, I need permission or what do I want to do? It's actually giving me a little noise, like a little notification noise, so that you could be working in something completely different. And then if it gets to a point where it needs you to approve something, you'll actually hear the little like notification instead of it just being stuck at a point in a screen that you're not looking at and then it's not doing anything for hours. So right now it looks like it's working inside the terminal of PowerShell. See, this is what it's doing for me. And this is something that I just hated doing before, is being inside the terminal. Some people might love it. I don't know. I guess if you love it, this video is not for you. It's okay. Just click away now. All right. So if you're anything like me, and have ADD and things are working in the background, you got to go do something else. So this is my my DM app that's completely up and running. The link to it can be found on ianryankirk.com as the slap method, the DM slap method. But I'm just going to ask this agent to like look at the site, open it in a different browser, and tell me if it can make any improvements on it. So launch the app in a browser, test the main user flow, take a screenshot of each step, report any bugs you find. So basically, I'm asking it to test it before we deploy it. This one should work. So this is why anti-gravity is, in my personal opinion, maybe a little bit better than Cursor, because I'm not a developer. And as far as like security, as far as like running things like this in a browser where it just tests everything to make sure everything's working, those are all things that I just couldn't figure out how to do with Cursor. Yet I can tell the agent here to do those things and help me, and it'll just do them for me. So it just opened this browser, and I'm going to just hit always allow. And I'm going to go back to that browser, and it's running it. So it's running it on a local host right here. And I'm not doing anything. It's doing this. So you can see the little thing down at the bottom of the screen. It'll have like a little, see, it's clicking on things. This is crazy. Like the first time I saw it do this, I was just like, oh my God, my computer's possessed. But check it out. It's testing everything, making sure things will work on my local system without it being deployed on the internet. So before you actually push any changes, you could have it run one of these tests and check everything for you. Again, I'm not doing any of this stuff. I'm not scrolling, I'm not touching anything. It's doing it. It's clicking on things. It's crazy. It's just checking all of its work all by itself and making sure everything's laid out properly. And again, like I would just ask it, like, what else can we improve? And it's like, oh, let's put this little glowing border. Oh, I think the colors are wrong because it's not whatever color. You're going to want it to be this color. And so here we are at the screen that people were trying to actually make a purchase on. And I forgot to change. There's a thing called a variable, which you have to put in as far as a secret variable for your Stripe connection. And I just forgot to put it in because there's a laundry list of things you have to do when you set one of these things up. And if I would have been doing it in Antigravity and it ran this completely automated test and checked all the things, it would have told me like, oh, your whatever thing is missing, and it would have been able to go into the variables or tell me which one to cut and paste and put in there. So you can see right down there, it says get DM clicking. So now it clicked on something for framework and it just keeps running this stuff to check the entire site like a human's doing it, but it just does it way faster and more proficient. Okay, so now what it did is it prompted me, it wants to use a PowerShell extension. I have the Claude Code extension, but I haven't installed this one yet. Do we trust this provider? Yeah, I don't know. It's been downloaded enough, so we'll just click install. And once that's installed, I'll come over here and click accept all because I'm finishing up the implementation, summary of what's live, and then I'm going to ask it the same thing just to like run it on a local host just so we can see what it's actually done so far. I think that's all good. PowerShell's installed, accept all, get out of extensions and go back over to files, and we can just close out of this because it's already installed. So what I did is I gave the same prompt for the call reflect here, and it's running it in a separate browser. And it's essentially testing what it's already built so far, just to find any bugs before we keep building on top of things. We got an error, it's fixing it. And so instead of getting to one of these screens at the very end of your project, you can keep running tests like this in Antigravity to allow it to test its work. And you can see it just fixed it. So instead of piling a bunch of stuff on top of like a weak foundation where you get to the end and then all of a sudden, like this whole big build, you just can't find what's wrong with it. I recommend like doing these little cross checks as you constantly build because it'll start testing it in real time. And then that way you don't get a bunch of errors at the end. And it looks like it's done with the DM one, which looks great. It gives, now has, this all changed. So it now has things not to do kind of like in a red. Everything else kind of that you should do is in green. It's given you a place down here to actually put in your DM conversation and get live feedback from it. And then if you need unlimited rewrites or you need more than just a few done, feel free to support the cause and pay for the API credits. Okay, so now just to recap, what I love about Antigravity is that you can use its built-in agents to essentially help you build plans. You can also use those built-in agents to then start implementing those plans. You can also use a Claude Code extension that's actually approved by Anthropic to run Claude Code inside Antigravity. So when I looked at all of those things, it made some of the other solutions very limiting for me. And this made it so that all I had to do was have a basic conversation with AI to actually plan out an app and launch it Whether you're planning apps or just want to build a website for yourself that's fully functional, and then if things break, you can come back into it and tell it, hey, this is broken. I don't know why it's broken, but help me fix it. Anti-gravity is going to be a key tool in your toolbox to make sure that you can manage and update your own websites and web apps live without any coding experience or knowledge. And you can stay the hell out of the terminal because it will do it for you. So if you like videos like this that are broken down into kind of like layman's terms, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Remember, I'm Captain AI, venturing into this new frontier of AI with you. I don't have all the answers, but I'm just sharing my experience, and hopefully that helps save you time, maybe saves you money. If you drop a comment down below for a future video idea, I'd much appreciate it, just so that I know how I can best serve you in this awesome AI community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.